Aloha, mother fathers. Welcome in. Another episode of the Side Hustle Podcast. Trying something different, as
Yeah.
you can see behind us right now.
Yeah, this is different.
Look, it's a logo.
This is different. In fact, you don't even have to say who we are. There are the names there too.
Mine's kind of cut off because I'm too big, unfortunately. It's hard to contort my... Look, there we go. I just do this the entire show.
Do you stretch at any point? Like, you're a top-level athlete on the side. Do you stretch at any point?
Top-level athlete. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I stretch because I have to, because if I don't, I won't be able to get out of bed. So unfortunately, it's part of what I have to do. But I mean,
that's a good point. So we told everyone that there are different components of this studio, the LPV production studio, and this week I put together a cheaply produced PowerPoint featuring 3,000 slides, and at some point before the end of the show, you will see all of them. But
so
I
buckle
promise
in.
you.
Buckle in. We're
Lock
going for a
in.
long ride.
Lock in.
5 hours.
Strap on, let's go. Although, we'll be on one particular slide for a little while.
Yeah. Well, there's a pretty good reason why. So we know this week is obviously, you could have saw behind us is WrestleMania week, but now you can see the other thing behind us now. Courtesy of Ariel Helwani, MMA Hour. He had CM Punk on earlier this week on Monday. You guys are seeing this from our perspective on Thursday. Wow. Hour and 50 minutes of some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It was pretty good.
There was a ton of things, like even to the point, like before the show, I almost had I sent it to you, but I also basically needed to send to myself an entire transcript of everything that was covered. First of all, kudos to Punk for agreeing to do this interview, agreeing to open up seemingly as much as he could, considering the NDAs from the fight after, what was it, All Out?
A couple years back, yeah. Ironically enough, there was no NDA for the Jack Perry stuff.
I know, yeah.
We thought there was, but it turns out he just didn't want to talk about it.
I know,
Which,
yeah.
I mean, he's so sick and tired of all the bullshit.
And then here's the funny thing. Like, 30 seconds later after he said, I don't want to talk about it, he dove right in. Speaking of somebody who's not really a true talker or anything like that, you know.
Well, so Ariel Helwani, I give him credit. Like, he didn't, like, pry too much. He just, he's like, you haven't ever talked about it. Because Punk was like, I don't really want to hash this out again. He's like, you never really have. He's like, oh, you're kind of right. All right, fuck. Well, then here we go. Like, let me just give you what I can and what I'm willing to say, and then we'll go on. But never seemed like he was agitated or irritated to talk about it or anything like that. And he talked about a lot of shit.
Yeah, he
like,
did.
He broke down a lot.
Yeah, he did. Let's just jump right into it. And again, I have to grab my phone, so we're not going to cover the entire interview, but it's 2 hours, and it's 2 hours that's going to fly by very, very quickly if you're a professional wrestling fan, if you're a CM Punk fan. Honestly, if you're an AEW fan, actually, I do want to address one thing. So I told you that Adam opened last night's AEW Dynamite show basically as kind of like a pep rally for professional wrestling at AEW.
Needed to, apparently, because, yeah, they got offended. Of course they did, because that's what people in AEW do, is they put on 5-star matches and then get offended when people criticize them. So, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world for them to want to go out. And it's unfortunate when it's someone that you actually really, like, enjoy watching and really appreciate, and for everything he's done, for the journey he's been on in his life. It's kind of sad to see him have to come out and do the rah-rah thing. Maybe you expect that from, like, Bryan Danielson, or the Bucks won't do it because I guess they're bad guys now in AEW. I don't really watch too much to tell you because it's not worth it. But
they're the high-drawing EVPs of all elite wrestling.
They haven't drawn anywhere, but that's beside the point. There's a reason why they're not welcome back in Japan, but we're not going to get there, are we? Kenny can go back whenever he wants. Kenny drew in Japan, so that's whatever you say about Kenny Omega. In Japan, he is a star.
But even, like, as a package deal.
But even Kenny Omega can't make the Bucks a star.
Yeah.
The Bullet Club was a star. The guys were just a part of it. They weren't really drawing anybody.
And I'll say this, you know, you saw on the MMA Hour Cody's interview.
That was Wednesday.
You saw that. I did not get a chance to watch that. I'll be honest. This week, there's like 30 to 40 hours of professional wrestling content this week. So first off, we appreciate all of you for watching us.
Oh, yeah.
And listening in if you're listening on one of the apps. But Cody, I'll give him Cody this. He's loyal. Loyal to his roots. And he did build something special. He built something, one of the things that Adam talked about in his promo.
Which is Edge again, by the way, in case anyone's wondering who he's talking about. Because you say Adam, I could be talking about my neighbor who cuts his lawn once a week, I mean, it could be, who the fuck is Adam? Like,
I'm going to make it a point just to call him Adam.
God.
It's his real name. I'm going to make it a point to call him by his real name. Mr. Adam talked about how, he's a fan of professional wrestling, all of professional wrestling. And AEW is a great place. And I'll just say this before we dive into the Punk thing. It's always good to have competition. It's always good to have an alternative. It is. But you want that company, if we stated this multiple times, you want them to do well. You want them to not shoot themselves in the foot with mistakes that they keep on making. And to the point, Kyle, where to us, we see it as mistakes. To a Tony Khan, apparently he knows better.
So you point out the key word in all this is alternative. It's not competition. Let's set the record straight pretty quick with that. It's not. It's not competition. You can't compete against a different show and do half of their ratings. The building Wednesday night for Dynamite is half blacked out because they can't draw more than 5,000 to 6,000 people on a regular show. It's got to be some crazy overbooked fiasco they promote for like a month in advance to actually sell over 10,000 tickets anymore. And even then, they go back to bullshit the next week. So it's not competition. It's just another promotion that's out there where the guys and girls can get paid, which is great. That's awesome. But are you really going to feel fulfilled there? I think we're going to find out in the next year or so with Mercedes, all the things she's talking about. Yeah. It's great to be on top of a mediocre division that doesn't get any attention. You guys think WWE doesn't book women wrestling properly? Go watch AEW. Yeah.
All right, let's dive into this interview with Punk. There's a ton. That's why I have to read the transcript here. There's a ton, but we'll skip through the part at the beginning where he was invited back last May. He was invited to the WWE locker room by friends. By Bailey.
Bailey, of all people, was like, because I guess he was doing an MMA show, the CMLL, whatever he does, down in Tampa.
Which he calls, yeah.
Yeah, he calls that. I think he's doing another broadcast a week from now, or whatever it is. And they just plane back up to Chicago. Oh, shit, hey. Yeah. He met Liv. He met a bunch of people that were on the plane or whatever it was. And Bailey was like, yeah, we're going to be in Chicago. He's like, well, I don't have no wife, no dog this weekend. Oh, shit, I'll go up and say hi to a couple people.
So I love the story that he was telling. It was like, yeah, I visited a couple people. He was mentioning that was the kind of an odd time where Vince was out of the company, back into the company.
Vince was virtual, technically, like doing a lot of this stuff from home.
Yeah, it was Zoom call Vince.
Zoom Vince, yeah.
Zoom Vince.
Creepy mustache Vince, which kind of feels more apropos at this point. But that's beside neither here nor there.
Yeah, right. Now, I will admit, when he talked about, at some point he did get kind of kicked out of the building. Was you stunned at what he said AEW's reaction was, which was essentially the fine folks at AEW was livid, thought that Punk was just betraying their trust.
They let Chris Jericho go on Stone Cold's podcast on the WWE Network or Peacock or whatever it was at that point. And he's not as big a star as Chris Jericho is. He's making probably more money than Chris was. Again, it's if you don't like somebody and they do something that normally is considered like, maybe you should have asked this first, whatever it is, there's obviously going to be some, to a different level, more people upset about it.
Right.
He wasn't asking for permission. He was still healing from his injury. So he was like, well, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to... They also didn't talk to him. That was crazy. I know that it's going to come up at some point.
Yeah.
But getting hurt with his tricep and his other arm, missing 6-8 months, whatever it was, they didn't call him once. They didn't set up any physical therapy appointments. They didn't do anything. He's like, I hope the Jaguars players don't go through that shit. Which they have team doctors there. They have people. I'm assuming they don't.
You know what we should have did before the show. Every year the NFLPA ranks.
Yeah.
You know, their team organizations and things like that.
They're probably somewhere in the middle or bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's also just Jacksonville. I'm not trying to take a shot at the Jaguars, but at the same point.
But if you have money, if you're able to provide, if you have the capabilities to provide those resources, then you need to provide those resources. I mean, if you have those capabilities,
it's insane.
That needs to happen.
Even the London thing, which old news, we all knew about it, but no one there to pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be one of your main events.
Yeah.
For the show that you've been talking about, 100,000 people. We broke the record, all that, which you didn't, but all these people oh my God, it's the biggest show ever, and it didn't pick up the guy you're spending millions and millions of dollars on a year. Couldn't even give him a fucking cab. Like, it's that kind of petty bullshit where it's like, am I dealing with another one of the boys who's on top, or am I dealing with a fucking owner of a company who knows right from wrong and how to be a boss?
Well, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. It would be easy to essentially say, well, he's 4 or 5 years into the company. There's little things that he's learning, and you could say that. I mean, if he ever came out and said, "Hey, I made a mistake. You know, this is one of our." You know, this is our biggest international event. My bad.
You know who did get fucking rides from the airport that day? Probably the Bucks.
Yeah.
Probably Omega.
That's why you didn't hear anything.
Yeah, probably
That's
all.
why you didn't hear.
You know who was in the car with him?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Tony Khan, probably.
Probably.
So there you go. I mean, it's
probably.
Well, you can't play like Vince played favorites, but everyone still got catering. They still got their shit together. They still had rides, places. They still get medical. They still get like.
The difference was he played favorites with those who drew the most. Okay, Vince played favorites to The Undertaker. He played favorites to The Undertaker.
There was a point in time where CM Punk was probably like the only real draw for the company, minus MJF. But
Kyle,
I mean, like,
Vince put himself in a main event feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Well. All right, let's continue on here because. Again, this is a ton. I want to jump ahead to Jack Perry because I have to. I want to jump ahead to Jack Perry. So a ton of things.
What a fucking joke.
So a ton of things to unpack between this guy and Jack Perry, and the first thing was the start of Collision, essentially. So first off, even before we get to Jack Perry, so. Punk has these issues with the EVPs, with the Bucks, and everything. So, you know, there's a couple ways that a boss should take care of it. You know,
talk to somebody. I don't know.
Either talk to somebody or get rid of somebody. If Punk really was the problem, you get rid of him. If one of the EVPs was a problem, you get rid of him. Or I think what Vince would have done, or Eric Bischoff would have done in the past, or you know, Paul Heyman, future Hall of Famer, would have done. You got a problem? Hey, I have a problem with you. You know what we're going to do? We're going to put you in the same locker room. We're going to put you in the same locker room and put you in the same program as you, and we're going to feud. I'm going to come up with a story. I'll give you this, even something better. Oh, I'll throw it back to Adam. Adam can relate to this. So, Lita cheated on Matthew with Adam.
Matt Hardy and Edge. I don't know if anyone's.
Vince McMahon.
Pete's like, what the fuck is this? The like version of the OC? Like, what's going on right now? What kind of bullshit?
Vince McMahon and the writers could have easily said, "Oh, this is bad. Matt, we're not going to really bring you back, or if we are going to bring you back,
we're going to split you up.
We're going to put you over on SmackDown."
Which he did eventually go to SmackDown.
He did eventually. But that's my point.
But they had a feud first.
You have a feud first.
It's real.
Yeah.
If it's real, people are going to feel it. That's the problem we've been talking about from the beginning with AEW. They don't want it to feel real. They want to do their moves. They want to get 6 stars from Dave Meltzer, and they want to move the fuck on. And I'm not trying to like I said, it's hard not to sound like you're bashing the company. But at the same point, it's like you guys weren't trained properly. And the people that were trained properly, Daniel Bryan, those kind of guys, they need to get their entire locker room shit together. Like, then work on getting these people properly trained and understanding how to do the business properly. Otherwise, enjoy drawing 700,000 people a week and being a distant second.
But their problem, Kyle, you mentioned Brian. He is so hell-bent on proving Vince wrong. Or proving WWE wrong. I'm sorry, I keep saying Vince. I know he's out of the picture now.
Well, 45 years he was in front of it, so it's hard not to think about him when you think about the WWE product. But
right.
I mean, look at
today's...
today's...
But he's so hell-bent on... we talked... And you've been on top of this for the last... Really, since we started the show, about you got to get people over. You got to, O'Shea Jackson. We played this clip a month ago. You got to movie these guys up. And you have Brian quoted as saying, we're not going to basically have we're not going to give them baby steps, essentially. We're going to treat them like superstars already. Well, here's the problem again.
They're not.
We don't know them.
And no one knows who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Again, first name that Edge said Wednesday night, Will Ospreay. Crowd was like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They popped more for other guys that they knew a little bit better.
Yeah.
But nobody fucking...
They popped hard for Cody, who's on the other show now.
One of the loudest ones.
Yeah. He's on the other show now.
This is the problem. Honestly, it's a serious issue. Nobody knows who the fuck this guy is. Even the 3,000 people in attendance didn't fucking really care.
Mm-hmm.
It's like...
and that lays the problem. All right, let's move forward here. So,
my God.
So because Tony Khan did not address the issues between the EVPs and Punk, his solution was to split the shows. Split the locker room up. And let's pretend like they don't have to meet up, for each pay-per-view. So, okay, fine. Punk, we're going to give you your own show. Which, by the way, in the interview we found out Punk wanted to leave before this all happened.
He literally said, I talked to Tony and told him that's not going to work. Let me go. Tony said, can't do that. And Tony, it's not going to work.
Well, from Tony's perspective, I do understand from the standpoint you talked to TNT and you essentially sold this show off the basis of CM Punk. You built this show around a star. And maybe that was the sales pitch. The sales pitch was, we're going to build an entire pro wrestling program around you, and it's going to be your vision.
Punk was the guy that was in charge for how it was month and a half, 2 months he was on Collision.
Yeah.
He was running the fucking show.
He was. Yeah, he was.
That's how inept this company is. I'm not saying this guy can't do it, but at the same point, that's not his fucking job.
Right.
He basically had 2 contracts. He said it with the company. One as a wrestler and one as a fucking GM, apparently. Because he's got to handle shit in the back with Jack Perry. He's got to handle all this stuff. And meanwhile, trying to worry about not getting hurt because he is in his mid-40s trying to still wrestle at a high level and doing crazy shit that all these guys want to do and all that stuff. It's...
So let's get to the Jack Perry thing.
So, fucking God.
So Perry wants, and this is where the Real Glass story kind of gets going here.
And it's good to hear someone that's actually coherent tell it.
I know.
Because I could see that I could see that conversation happening on screen.
Yeah.
That's how real it felt when he was talking about it. Again, end of the day, he could be full of shit. Do I think he is? No. He's been telling the truth since before we can all remember.
So let me
for better or worse, but still, he does that. So I mean, I have no reason not to believe what he's saying.
Right.
And no one else is fucking talking about it.
Right.
We haven't heard Jack's side. AEW, there's no NDAs about this. Fucking talk about it. Get it out of the way. That's what you do immediately when this kind of shit happens. Talk about it. This is the last you hear guys talk about in the NFL contracts. Hey, beginning of the season, let's say Patrick Mahomes is doing an extension. Guys, if we don't sign something by the beginning of the year, I'm not talking about the rest of the season until off season. I want to focus on the season.
Yeah.
That's how you do this.
Yeah.
That's how a professional does it. That's how a man handles his business.
But again, you use a Patrick Mahomes who's in a winning organization, who's in a long time.
Even fucking Amari Cooper for the Browns.
Yeah.
He's due a contract extension. If he doesn't get one before the season, I'm sure he's going to come out and say, I don't really want to talk about it during the year, guys. I'll talk about it now. I'd love to be here, or I don't want to be here, whatever it is. But once the season starts, I want to fucking do my thing, man. I don't want to deal with this shit. I don't want to be a distraction. I want to get it all out of the way now, so that way you guys aren't asking me questions in week 12 about, your contract. This is the same fucking principle.
Yeah.
like deal with it at the beginning, so you're not asking or answering questions about it fucking 7 months later when the guy's working for a different company and killing it with a fucking torn tricep. He's drawing better numbers than you guys. He's injured. He's wearing the damn brace everywhere.
Yeah, he is.
And he is outselling you still. Yes, he's wrestled one fucking match on TV.
Yeah.
And he's out fucking sold AEW.
Just let him. It's a double edge. You didn't figure it. All right.
Stupid.
So Jungle Boy. I'm just gonna read this word for word here. So
Jack Perry. He doesn't want to be called Jungle Boy anymore. Sensitive prick. Sorry, I shouldn't say that because maybe at some point we want these guys on the show, but they'll find it'll be one and done pretty quick because I'm not gonna.
If Jack Perry wants to be on this show,
you know this too. You know this too, man. I am done. Like
yeah.
catering to bosses, watching my mouth.
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff.
If
Pete's looking at me like, oh fuck, but like, no, this is the thing. There's a reason why we agree to do this.
Yeah.
Right. Because we have unfiltered opinions about professional wrestling. You're a little more tame than I am because you've been trained longer than me in that sense of kind of having your head on straight. I've gotten you to break a few times, which is awesome for me. But like, at the end of the day, like, I don't fucking care.
I am not a former news director.
And he didn't have this shit bottled up for years either, by the way, too. But that's beside, like, it's something we're both passionate about.
Yeah.
And when you're passionate about something, you show emotion for it, you care about it, you want to see it done properly and well, and you understand there are levels too. Is the guy in the second match on the same level as Roman Reigns? Obviously not. But I want to see that professionalism. I want to see them bring it the right way, the way that it should be, because maybe one day they could get to that level.
I'll tell you what, since we're doing this green screen thing, Pete, if Kyle does get upset, is he able to stand up and like yell at the camera like he's on Good Morning Football or something?
No, Pete wants me to stay seated. It would take a lot. It would take a lot for me to stand up. Honestly,
yeah, like
because my knees hurt too, so I wouldn't want to.
Like you guys did not see the 30 minutes of putting all this together, and
but it looks damn good, doesn't it?
Well, Punk looks great.
He looks fantastic. Punk hasn't aged a bit.
Yeah, he is.
Looks like 2007 CM Punk.
Right. ECW World Champion.
Damn right.
In there. All right. So, Jungle Boy, he had this great idea. He's a young guy. He wants to do things. He wants to try things out. So he wanted to smash a rental car. So he wanted a pipe. He wanted a pipe. And it's like, yeah, we're going to do this angle or whatever, or wants to do this angle, and he wants to smash a rental car.
With the whole goal being that he didn't want to travel to Canada.
He didn't want to travel to Canada.
Because the flights were all fucked up, so they were going to have to drive. And he didn't want to drive the rental car to Canada.
Yeah. So...
Entitled motherfucker, dude. I swear to God. Like,
and the problem is these are terrible ideas.
Yeah.
It's not even like...
Well,
it's not even like... Oh, he's a younger guy.
Well,
because you can say this real quick. You could say like, and even Punk would say this. Younger guy, you want to try new ideas, and you may think like, oh, the older established vets are telling me no. They don't want to move professional wrestling forward. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. But the younger guys in the past were at least giving good ideas. So you're gonna
they would give ideas, but they would listen.
Well, they would listen.
Hey, let's do this. What do you think? They would say, "What do you think about this?" Not, we're going to do this.
And then yell at everyone backstage when they tell you no. Yell at Tony Schiavone when he tells you no. Yell at the lead doctor when he tells you no. And then
so Punk goes back.
How about Schiavone
goes to CM Punk and fucking catering? This dude just minding his own business, eating his fucking healthy shit or whatever he's doing. I don't know if he's vegan or not. Maybe he is now. I have no idea. MMA can do that to you. But like Tony Schiavone walks up to Punk and just goes, hey, can you come talk to Jack? And he's like, well, what's going on? And he's like, he wants to do this fucking spot breaking glass with a pipe on a rental car. I told him no. This guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, all these people, all these important people backstage told him no. He's motherfucking us and telling us, we can't do all this shit. I was like, what the fuck's now I gotta go babysit this fucking locker room. And he went and he told his side of the story, basically walked up to Jack, who was in the moment. He's like, listen, these guys told you no, this guy told you no. Now I have to tell you no, dude. Like, apparently Perry was fine with it. He was like, oh, I get it. I just thought it'd be really cool. And Punk's like, maybe it would be, dude. But the problem is you're breaking a glass window on a rental car with a lead pipe. Yeah. You're going to return the car to fucking Hurts America or whatever it is with a broken window, they're going to tell everyone not to rent cars as professional wrestlers anymore. You're going to kill it for the boys.
Yeah.
One thing, if it's your car, if it's whatever's car, we get approval to get you a new window, that's fine. But, like, you can't do that.
Or how about this?
Because it's stupid.
How about this? How about this? Whatever city they were in, I'm sure there's a junkyard where they could have...
It's Tony Khan. This guy spends money out of his ass for no reason. Have him buy a junk piece of shit for $1,000, yeah, or
paint it, get spray paint.
Put effort into it is what we're saying. If you have an idea like that, and people are telling you no, then ask them, okay, what would you do in the situation? Because I brought something to the table, now bring something for me so we can kind of go back and forth instead of me just being like, well, what the fuck?
Right.
And again, I want to preface this too by saying we haven't heard Jack's side of the story. We haven't heard.
I don't want to.
Honestly, I don't either.
Is that a fair thing? I know it's not a fair thing
it's not technically fair, but at the same point.
I know it's the right thing to do, that we need to hear what he has to say.
He comes off.
Nothing has.
He comes off like a punk. He really does.
He does.
No pun intended. Sorry, buddy.
He does.
Like he does come off as like a snot-nosed, entitled, young indie wrestler who thinks he knows everything. When this guy, from what he said and how he talked, which I could believe it, he probably threw a couple curse words in there, but not like, anger. It was more like, dude, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, he's trying to lead. He's trying to make the best out of the situation.
Punk is.
Yes.
Okay.
And Jack,
Perry was not.
Well, the Perry apparently was like, okay, I get it, I understand. Yeah. And then that's when this whole thing at fucking All Out happened, where he says the shit coming off the stage in the pre-show. Good job, asshole. You didn't even make the main program.
Great job.
Fantastic. You're so over, by the way.
Great job.
Yeah, everyone knows who he is, right? It's not because you're dad, but nevertheless, comes back and punks the next match with Samoa Joe. First match of the show. It's going to be huge. It's like, dude, what the fuck's your... Are you okay? Like
First off, did Samoa Joe, I thought, was in the right,
Well, pull apart, of course, yeah.
Yeah. This may seem obvious, but did Punk... If you were in Punk's position after all that happened, would you have gone out and faced Joe? Let's say you're playing CM Punk with the history and everything like that. Would you have gone out and after you basically told Tony Khan again, I quit, I'm out of here, would you have still gone out afterwards?
Yeah.
And have the match?
Well, because he has respect for Joe. He has respect for a couple of guys he mentioned too, the guys that were working on the match. He's like, it's going to be my last match with the company.
And the fans too. I do commend.
He was on. He's like, most of these people bought tickets to probably see me, and probably like Brian and a couple other guys too. But he was a big part of that shit.
And
him and Samoa Joe's a big fucking match.
And I'll say this: if he did not go out,
people would have been pissed.
I don't think he has a WWE contract if he didn't go out. And I only say that because the backlash.
It's unprofessional.
Yeah, it's very. It would have been very unprofessional. The backlash out of it, like, okay, if this happened there, and Punk has a reputation.
Well, he has a reputation of backstage.
I understand.
But when he's out there, he doesn't do. He doesn't. He's very even with the Royal Rumble thing.
No, you're right.
Like he was professional as fuck. So,
you're 100% right. Yeah. I'm just saying
he'll do business and then he'll talk to you afterwards.
Right. I'm just saying like there would have been a rep out there saying, "Wait a minute," without anybody knowing the full story, like if he didn't go out there,
they'd be screwed.
They'd be.
He wasn't gonna do that. I don't think that was ever a thought in his mind. I think he was pissed, but once they came and talked to him, once he was able to calm down, it wasn't like that big of a delay too in the show. It was like maybe minutes, if that. He's like, yeah, I'm going out. Like we're gonna do this. It's gonna be my last one here. He wasn't probably even thinking about WWE at that point.
That's my favorite thing out of that entire pay-per-view. Think about like while the intro's playing and welcome to AEW All In.
He's in the back.
He's in the back whooping ass.
So according to Punk, no punches were thrown in this whole backstage thing. He put Perry in a chokehold because he was getting. If you watch that Chael Sonnen, I think it was the UFC, the Ultimate Fighter thing when they got too close.
Yeah,
I forget who it was. Who was like there with him, but like he's like kind of like Chael said, I can't let you get too close to me because then I don't know what's gonna happen. And he's got the background now where it's like if you're gonna step at me a little bit, like I'm gonna defend myself.
Right.
He doesn't know the kid's a fucking idiot. He had no idea what he was gonna do. If he's telling, what are you gonna do about it? Do something. And he's coming at Punk a little bit. Well then, put him in a fucking headlock. Like hold your dumb ass till you calm down. He didn't throw punches. Tony Khan saying he was scared for his life. If that's really what happened, because Tony hasn't talked about this either, if that's exactly what happened, literally, if a Punk said is word for word, and there probably is a little bit of gray area in there, but nevertheless, my God, Tony, be a fucking man. Like, dude, you are a grown adult man. That's embarrassing. If you got scared because of that, dude, you're a billionaire. You run a multi-million-dollar company. What the
He's
fuck?
He's a nice guy, Kyle.
Who gives a fuck?
He's a nice guy.
You can be nice and not be a pussy. Am I right? Listen, I'm not calling him that.
Pete, he's a nice guy.
I'm not calling him that, but
he is.
But come on.
But he is.
If that's truly what happened, my God, we got to talk. Holy shit.
No,
no. No.
How about
no.
Especially if that is what went down. How about him saying that in Chicago?
He went out.
He went out in Chicago.
He basically said CM Punk just quit. All that stuff. He went on a full thing. He talked to the fans. He's like, "No, you're not happy with me," and I'm sorry. That was his moment to be Vince.
He's not built for it.
Punk screwed Punk.
He's not built for it.
I gave him this opportunity. He blew it. He could have fucking killed it, and that would have put AEW and himself as a owner, as a GM, as a leader of the company on a different level.
And here's his thing.
And he dropped the
here's
ball.
his thing, Kyle. If he's not built to be, look,
find somebody that is.
No, I'll just say this.
Fuck.
Obviously, when you look at Tony Khan, you don't think muscular Vince McMahon. I get that. But here's what you could easily do.
You got to be 300 pounds and not be a
No, but
douchebag.
here's how it would have worked. Here's how it would have worked. He goes out in front of that crowd of Chicago and said Punk screwed Punk and everything, and he hires or maybe assigns a wrestler
Wardlow
to play.
Oh well.
To play basically the bodyguard.
Yeah, Wardlow.
Wardlow would fit.
Perfect.
He
was doing
Tony
nothing
Khan.
anyway. Yeah, he was doing nothing at that point.
He would essentially speak up for Tony Khan. If Tony is not comfortable in that role, you put over a wrestler who
you want to build around.
And who you want to build around.
Who needs the platform that can take that heat off of Tony and put it on him. Like, Tony did everything he was supposed to. He could have took that heat and magnified it.
And that's your heel, and that would be your heel world champion.
Oh, and he's a big dude.
Yeah.
He's not relatable. Like, he's a heel.
Yeah.
He's a fucking heel.
Wardlow would have been perfect for
honestly, because he was doing nothing anyway.
Yeah, Wardlow would have been perfect.
And he was over before it, so fans, at least AEW fans, knew him. So
yeah,
he'd have a baseline going in at least.
Can you imagine? Yeah, he cuts that promo, Khan.
In Chicago.
That promo in
fucking Chicago.
And then brings out Wardlow. Brings out a big guy who, powerhouse hot.
Anybody else got a problem with me? Deal with fucking him.
Deal with him.
Boom.
That's it.
Hey, we just wrote your television better than you ever did.
There it is. Have Wardlow come out suit and tie. You could say Wardlow is the vice president of AEW. Everything that I want goes through him. And that's that. That's that. And this guy has a problem.
You can't give him a title because then the EVPs will get upset.
If this guy has a problem with Tony Khan, if this guy ever wants to come back to my company, wants to come back and perform in front of the best professional wrestling fans in the world, where you have world caliber matches, this guy faces Wardlow. This guy faces the guy in my company. We just rolled 2 years of programming for AEW.
No. They don't believe in long-term storytelling. Just 5-star matches.
All right. This is WrestleMania. The fact we're spending time.
It was a great fucking. Like I said, I could not.
No, not Punk. The fact that we're wasting time on Jack Perry.
Yeah, that part's kind of.
Jack Perry does.
Listen, here's the thing with like a lot of these guys too. There's talent there, right? We could talk shit about Jack as much as we want, but like, there's talent there. The problem is we don't have the proper training or not under the proper supervision, and you're not a guy who's been in the business for 30 years like Punk or Edge or whatever it is. You need some guidance. You just do. I'm not going to let's say by some fucking miracle in 2016, 2017 when I tried out for the Canton Charge, I made it, right? and I somehow found my way to the Cavs. You think LeBron's going to tell me something I'm not going to fucking listen? You think Kyrie Irving would tell me something and I wouldn't listen? Advice? The 15th guy on the fucking bench who's been there in the league for 5 years, I'd fucking listen to. Everyone has more experience than me. A lot of these guys, this was their first fucking job when it came to real professional TV style wrestling. Take advantage of who you have in the locker room. I don't care if you hate the dude. Like, dude, honestly, man, be blunt with him. I don't really like you that much, but I know how much you've done for this business. Can I ask you about this?
Well,
and that's how you mend a lot of fences too, by just being a fucking man and having a conversation. It's not that difficult. At the end of the day, all this is real fucking simple.
Yeah.
It comes back to just basic stuff you learn when you're like in grade school. Honestly,
I'll give you this example based on what you just said a second ago about LeBron and Kyrie. In this scenario, Kyrie, he had a tough time adjusting to, like, he was the guy, and then LeBron came into the fold, and he had a tough time. He made it work for as long as he could, but he had a tough time adjusting himself. What if the organization, what if the Cavs decided to, hey, Kyrie, I know you're having a tough time. We're going to get rid of LeBron.
I don't think he would have believed him. Kyrie's also a very special individual.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, too, when it comes to his thought process. It's just very different.
I understand that.
And top guys are built different. There's competition in-house. It's just like
but
WWE.
My point is, what if Jack Perry was told that he was a top guy? he was named
on the kickoff show.
He was named one of the pillars
you can
of AEW.
Pillar my nuts in your mouth. Fucking, he was on the kickoff show. He was told
that he's one of the top guys of the company.
Jesus Christ.
So he's conducting himself
there's a difference
like an idiot, but he's conducting himself like he believes that he's a top guy.
Well, Punk did say that too. You get people that are telling you certain things that maybe boost your ego up more, and he's like, egos clash, and that's how that. It's one thing when it's like Kenny and the Bucks because they created it, but it's another thing when it's this dude who's been a tag team champion in this company, and that's it. He has no experience prior to this in any sort of actual televised wrestling, like. But at the same point, it's, okay, you may be one of the pillars. This guy's won 10 world championships, the biggest company. He's been all over the world. He's done all this stuff. You think
but he's not one of us.
He signed the fucking contract. What do you want him to do? Bleed and get a blood tattoo of AEW on his fucking arm? Like, it's tribalism bullshit that's happening in locker rooms now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we hear all the time about, like, oh, it's all fan stuff. It's not guys in the actual locker rooms. Exhibit A.
Why is there NDA on the?
He wants to talk about it. He's like, I'd fucking, if I could, I would.
Yeah.
Because he knows.
He can't even talk about his freaking dog.
No, apparently played a big role in that fight.
Yeah, apparently.
Good job, Larry. Way to get into it. But like, dude.
Who knew dogs would be catching strays in professional wrestling these last couple of years?
Exactly. But see, this guy right here actually wanted to clear the air. I couldn't even get in a room with him because Tony wouldn't do it.
Nah.
Because you're how do you? He said it best, and as far as my thoughts on that, I think this pretty much will wrap it up for me. But like, he basically said, we're not in the same business.
No.
Because I thought I was coming into AEW to sell tickets, to draw money, to move the company and the promotion forward.
The biggest thing he said was to help.
Exactly, to help.
To help. His first feud was with Darby.
Yeah, to
coming
help
in the door.
Build some guys on the way too. Obviously, I want to get my wrestling fix as well. I missed this, but at the same point, I want to move it forward, and I love the fact there was an alternative to WWE. He's like, I love competition. I found out quickly that that's not what this was. And if they don't like you when you first come in, like, Edge is lucky because everyone loves Edge.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Bryan's lucky. Everybody don't has a bad thing to say about Daniel Bryan. Those guys come into that locker room and they get respect. Punk's a little prickly. They've got some friends of his former friends that don't like him or whatever it is, so they're coming in already kind of like, I don't know about this guy. I don't know. It's like, you need to. It's all. What did your mom tell you when you were a kid? Give everyone a chance. Treat you how you want to be treated. You know, you don't know the dude. He didn't know any of these guys. He'd been where they'd been, Ring of Honor, all that stuff. Way before they even fucking could dream about it, before they
Yeah.
could even walk, pretty much. He was doing their shit. Like, he did not need to be treated like that from the get-go. And obviously, he kind of said it too, I'm fair to everybody. Until you treat me a certain way. And it's like, well, if that's how you're going to treat me, then why the fuck should I be nice to you if you're not going to fucking... It's common sense. If I walk into a sandwich shop and the owner wants to sell me something, but he what the fuck are you doing here? I'm walking the fuck out of the sandwich shop.
You go.
There's a bunch
of street.
There's a couple different options out there.
You
And I wasn't
the street.
I wasn't in a Subway. There's a Subway across the street. I'm gonna go to that one. I'm not gonna hang out at this fucking mom and pop. I'm gonna go over there because I know at least the employees are gonna be fairly respectful and it's professional. And I'm gonna get a sandwich and not to deal with this bullshit.
You just want a sandwich.
All he wanted was a fucking sandwich.
All he was a sandwich.
He just wanted a sandwich.
He just wants a...
What the fuck, Tony?
He just wanted the cheese to be toasted.
God.
That's all. He just wanted the cheese to be toasted. And that was it.
7 blend cheese bread.
Just wanted that. Just wanted the sub to be sliced. Just wanted one little dab of salt and pepper.
I wanted the crust cut off of my peanut butter and jelly.
That's all. That's
all I wanted.
That's it.
What the fuck?
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And he walked his little ass across the street.
With the Subway.
With the Subway.
He's eating fresh now, motherfuckers.
Man. I think that's what happened to Quiznos. I used to love that place.
R.I.P. It's crazy. Everything happened with Jared, but still Subway's still on top.
Yeah, man.
That's the crazy thing about that, isn't it?
Man, it didn't turn out. This interview overall was fantastic.
It was.
Obviously, we don't have time to cover all of it. The stuff he talked about as far as his return to WWE was fantastic. It came together quick.
Yeah.
Apparently, Nick Khan has been
On
the
his ass.
constant for years.
On him.
Even before he worked in WWE as the CAA.
Corporate officer number 1's been on his ass for a while.
For a long time. And that came together.
Didn't get that one. Sorry.
that I think Pete got it.
I don't know if he did. I don't think he did.
But it all came together. His conversation with Triple H. He even mentioned, I thought this part was funny. He believes, CM Punk believes that Triple H is a little disappointed in Punk because he's not as grumpy.
He said, yeah, he probably wants me to be more assertive and more, but he's as like,
he's Papa Punk right now.
He's in a different place. Like,
he
that was 10 plus years ago. I mean, people change. So,
this guy looks and feels happy, feels comfortable where he's at,
which is crazy for like the torn tricep. But still, he feels like he's in a spot where it's amazing what happens when you go and like, let's say you have a bad breakup, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you find another girlfriend, and it feels great for the first few months.
Mm-hmm.
But you start really like, man, this is kind of fucked up. And you see your other girl out there, and she's found a new guy, or she's just living her life, even if she's still single. But she looks so much happier, and things are just going her way. She's getting promotions at her work. She's doing all these things. You're just like, the fuck was I thinking?
Right.
Like, was I the one holding her back? Should I really be here right now with this? He saw this happen. Luckily for him, the other girlfriend was still interested in him too.
Right, but again,
she was still missing.
He doesn't regret his time. At least, like if he had to do it over, he built some good relationships with AEW. Some long-term
friends there probably. He didn't mention him because he didn't want him to get fired.
Yeah, he's like
for being
all
my
those
friend.
guys are going to be banished over to the Saturday show, and that's that. But check out that interview, MMA Hour.
Should we post a link in our YouTube if we can? Is that too much to ask for you? Or?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we'll do that.
I can even send you the link too if you want to.
Yeah,
Ariel deserves credit. That was a great interview. So
great interview. He's been knocking it out with interviews all week,
and it's simple. If you watch his interview style, because we're obviously broadcasters too, so we kind of like we've.
Yeah, we can talk about this for a sec. Yeah,
it's really, he doesn't ask long-winded questions. It's not like his whole thing. It feels like he's sitting down at his house on his couch, having a conversation with somebody. Even Cody, who's very buttoned up and very like that kind of like I'm the American dad, like whatever. It still feels like he's having a genuine conversation.
I can see though why Dana White hates him. I can see why Dana hates him. But at least when he was interviewing Dana White, at least he was called by the correct name the entire interview.
Excellent.
Remember these?
No, I wish I didn't.
So it was right after the Royal Rumble. We said on this show, I think it was episode 2 or 3. It's like, hey, put together the entire cards for WrestleMania. So these might be a little tough to see here, but this is night 1 and night 2, so we'll fly through this quickly because we want to preview the cards itself. So for me, I was lucky enough to get Rollins and McIntyre correct right there. Got that right.
I think they're going to open on night 2 as well. But you had it on night 1. But
yeah, we did not predict the. You had Rock, I believe, in your match.
I had Rock and Roman,
and
I had Cody and Seth. So
the only thing I'll say about my list here, first off, Nia Jax is not in a.
She's not.
Not in a match.
Liv Morgan, not in the match.
Liv Morgan, not in a match.
Well, not yet. You never know. They could throw some bullshit in there. We'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe
they'll be on the kickoff show. We'll see.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But let's see. Did I get any of these? Like, Io Sky and Bailey got that.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2/3 of the U.S. Championship. Logan Paul, L.A. Knight.
I got Lashley and the Street Profits in the Final Testament. I just saw
did.
That. How about that?
You did. But for me, none of this matters because I did not get the one match that I wanted. So
I fucking hate this. So
because of the one match I did not get, I feel like this entire list is a failure. And that is my presidential election match. Sami Zayn, Jinder Mahal, Biden on the side of Sami, Trump on the side of Jinder. It did not happen. We didn't even get RFK. We didn't get any of them.
Special guest referee.
Special guest referee.
RFK.
They're going to put Jake Underwood in this. They didn't put anybody in this.
They didn't. That's a damn shame.
So this card was a failure.
And by damn shame, I mean obviously that it was fantastic. But
let's go to yours.
So I had a couple wish list items on this one.
Yeah, you did.
Gunther and Big E that turned into Gunther versus Sami with Chad Gable, I guess. As is like, I'm still pissed that Trick and Mello isn't on the WrestleMania card, but I get.
But they are main eventing Stand and Deliver,
which is an insult to Ilya, by the way. But I mean, that's
hotter storyline.
They didn't even put that match on the thing I saw when they had like the scroll through to see the card for a Stand and Deliver, which is like, wow, really. It's amazing how that just kind of overshadowed it.
You did have Lashley and Street Profits final. Yeah,
I had Randy.
You had it in the women's tag team showcase. You had that right. Yeah, look at this.
Well, I guess that technically counts with Jade Cargill and.
No. You had Lashley.
Oh yeah. Underneath the women's, yeah. You're talking about the showcase. None of the showcase matches are happening. They're having the ladder match for the men's tag team titles. But
I like it. We'll break down the matches here in a sec. I like this little stipulation in that one.
I had Randy and AJ. I thought that'd be a good match, but it turns out it's just flipped. So because then I had LA Knight and Logan Paul. So insert LA into the AJ Styles match. Pull Randy into obviously
just a trade. Yeah,
and then add Kevin Owens because he has to have a match at WrestleMania. Other than that, I mean, it wasn't LWO versus Legado was kind of close because we're getting Ray and we're getting, I guess, technically LWO, which is Dragon Lee now.
Yeah.
Versus Legado, which is obviously
that's true. Yeah.
And technically Dom is like kind of like a pseudo Legado member for a night, I guess. So I don't feel terrible about that one. Pretty close.
Dom, by the way.
Dom's
like, hey, I don't have a few for WrestleMania, and I don't like my daddy, so I'm gonna fight him.
When you hear about what he was originally possibly scheduled for, it's crazy. But I mean, I think we both had the Uso match, the Jey versus Jimmy Uso match. Did you have Jade on your card?
I did. I had her facing Bianca.
You did. So
in a 1-on-1.
So I had her versus Bianca versus Nia.
We both try to find a way to get Nia Jax on the card.
It seemed just the way they're booking her that she was kind of destined for it, but over the past few weeks, with her losing multiple times, it kind of cooled it down a lot. She'll be on the kickoff show.
Yeah.
A lot of these people we haven't talked about, Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, some of these other female wrestlers, they'll even some of the big guys too. If you're not in the Andre Battle Royal, you'll be on some sort of pre-show match. Ricochet probably find his way versus like JD McDonough.
I actually expect Ricochet to win the.
Do you?
The Battle Royal.
You think it's going to be Andrade?
I don't think so. I think it'll be a Final 4. He might be a Final 2, but I think
I can see Andrade and Ricochet as the last two.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget
that's the top.
Omos
story.
is going to show up too, by the way, because all he does is do
Omos is in there. Omos, who is actually like one of the nicest people in professional wrestling.
Go figure. If only he could wrestle.
If only he can wrestle. Like the people that's going to be on at WrestleMania. And
This will be fun.
This is going to be fun. I will be honest about this.
Little disappointed about being Dragon Lee. I'm not going to lie, even though he's awesome. But
yeah. So when they set this up on SmackDown last week, I thought it was very obvious. Oh, either they're all going to fight each other. They might even cheat and make this a Survivor Series match or something. Cool. Or if it's a standard tag, Carlito is right there.
I think part of this too is you're seeing established stars technically in Rey and even Santos to an extent.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get a glimpse into the future.
Yeah, look.
So I get why they did it.
I don't blame them for doing this.
And they're going to have their posses out there with them. Like Carlito will make the entrance, so will all of Legado with, Santos. I wouldn't be surprised if not. Obviously, Rhea won't come out with Dom, but maybe Jade comes out too, whatever, that kind of thing.
I know the two people at the bottom are going to show up. I know they're going to show up and show out.
I said the one on the top right will too.
Well, I think it's going to be important for the people on the top, for Santos and for Dragon Lee. This is, to your point, this is their true introduction to perhaps the casuals.
Yeah.
This is they need to prove why both of them need to prove why they are the future of professional wrestling. And I think they're going to be responsible for carrying the boatload of the in-ring work in this match.
Yeah, I think Dom can do that too a little bit. I feel like Dom and Dragon Lee are going to be more the focal points.
Okay.
I think you're going to see more of fighting off with Rey and Santos, but we're gonna do our predictions Saturday, which by the way we'll talk about that in a minute too as well. Special announcement coming up for this weekend, so make sure you guys tune in for that. But
what we did not learn from broadcasting school, which is always plug your special announcements throughout the show.
There's going to be a special announcement at the end of this broadcast, so make sure you listen. You've already been here for 45 minutes, so you might as well just watch the rest of it.
Special announcements plug. Typically we would complain if somebody was inserted into a storyline out of nowhere. We would typically complain.
He was in it for a little bit.
No. I'm talking about Dominik Mysterio.
Oh, yeah, well, but
technically, this story has, as of now, this story has nothing to do with him. But guess what? Obviously, he's Rey's son.
Santos tied it in a little bit, though.
Santos tied it in. There are tie-ins now, Triple H just threw it out there. And then the strings are being weaved in. It's being tied in. Oh, by the way, Rey Mysterio is a bad father because what you're supposed to do as a daddy, even if they hate you, is to look after your kids. And the fact that you just left your son out in the wilderness of this professional wrestling world to figure it out for himself.
What, in his BMW, left him all by himself?
Just left him alone, Kyle. Just left him alone. You just gonna leave me for your new family?
What are the odds that... So hear me out. What are the odds that Dragon Lee turns on Rey?
That can't happen.
I mean, anything can happen.
I know anything can happen, but it's not beneficial. You want Dragon Lee to be your next Rey Mysterio.
I don't know. I think it'd be cooler if they feuded. It'd be cool if it was Dragon Lee and Rey.
To be fair, I really don't know much about Dragon Lee.
He's damn good. He's like Rey Mysterio on steroids.
Yeah.
He's like jacked.
As a character,
not literally on steroids. I don't want him to get in trouble.
As a character, I don't know much about Dragon Lee as a character.
Like most younger guys, he could do some more work on the mic. I feel bad for Dom because he hasn't been able to talk in 2 years. But I mean, I feel like the rest of his game is coming around. He can't.
Dom's putting it together.
He can't work on his promo stuff because he can't fucking talk because everyone boos him out of the building.
And
no, it's not piped in. For the last fucking time.
It's not.
People actually hate this dude.
It's not.
It's crazy.
It really, it's not.
He's so insufferable that people actually don't like him. It's crazy how emotion works. Huh. Proceed.
How about this match?
I'm so not excited for this.
You're not looking forward to this match?
I get why they're doing it because you want to protect Jade and you want to get her a big win. Also, Bianca also gets to keep her undefeated streak of WrestleMania. I think that's going to be big for her.
Yeah.
She could be like the next Undertaker as far as on the female side.
Yeah.
Talking about maybe at one point 10-0, 11-0, that kind of thing. I think she's like 3 or 4-0 now. But we know who's winning this match. Wrestling is the least fun when it's predictable. That's one of the reasons why, as much as we hated Cody last year losing, there's a reason why this past year was the best year for WWE ever. Because everybody is invested now. They want him to win. This, we know who's going over. Sorry.
But, hey, first of all,
Jade Cargill's not going to lose her first match on television like that.
First of all, there's a chance this match might divide some households. What? It might. This match might. It depends on who you're rooting for. You know, it might be.
So, who are you rooting for? You're rooting for Jade and Naomi, and and she's rooting for.
Maybe, but she likes bad guys. I don't know. But
what about bad bitches?
They get money.
Sorry, I had to fucking go there.
They get money. You know,
hey, look at this fucking thing. There's a lot going on up there, huh?
This is gonna be fun.
Holy shit!
They have made it a point. So I watch Raw on Hulu. So obviously not everything's included, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe the tag team titles, like they're gonna put the Raw tag team titles up, and it's gonna be separate from the SmackDown tag team titles.
So they're supposed to be together, but the theory is that Truth and Miz will take the Raw titles down, and they'll just leave.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, and like Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne will grab the other two. And then that way that will split the titles. They can make them the World and WWE Tag Team Champions again. And all hell could be done freezing over because I'm tired of this split title bullshit. Or the unified bullshit. You have two shows that have multiple tag teams that are kind of just in fucking purgatory because you can't ask them to be in multiple places. Judgment Day. So it's... Also, they're about to implode too, so it makes a lot of sense for...
Yeah, that's going to be big. We'll hit on like the Judgment Day impending breakup on do our special announcement later in the week. There's
End of the show, special announcement. Don't forget.
There's some good teams here. There's some good teams, some good stories in this. I think the concept of Awesome Truth winning the Raw titles is actually pretty cool.
Good for the Miz too.
It'll be great for the Miz.
Yeah, he's been
R-Truth has been extremely entertaining.
Good payoff for him too.
Great payoff. It'll be great.
What are the odds that the rumors that Theory and Waller get pulled for a returning tag team?
Pretty high. I think
I saw that after they won. There's rumors that there could be a push to possibly pull them out for some sort of backstage incident, whatever it is, and then we get a returning tag team that comes in and, I don't know if they'd win, but they'd be pretty entertaining, and it's also WrestleMania 40, so you want to make it as big as possible.
Well, remember this too, again, if the titles are going to be split, they could win the SmackDown. That's your star power. You're going to need star power, obviously, as Roman and Rock are going to be taking some time off after Mania.
If you're wondering who we're talking about, Hardy Boys. They're not foreign to coming back at WrestleMania unannounced. And Matt, I get the show that Raw was in North Carolina, but he also came out today being Wednesday. Obviously, you guys have seen this on Thursday, and said that Jeff is still a month away from getting cleared. But that could also be just bullshit.
Can you imagine if New Day is the team like they did several years ago?
They just pull out.
Not that, but New Day is the team that announces there's a new team.
I think it'd be more like either Adam Pearce or
Adam Pearce,
maybe together they come out. We had to scramble because it turns out Grayson Waller and Austin Theory missed their flight to Philly. Yeah, right. So now we have a new team that just so happened to be in the area.
That would be more believable if it was R-Truth that missed his flight.
I thought we were in Perth. No, Philadelphia, different P. Oh. All right, I'm going to head out. Sorry.
Let me ask you this real quick about DIY.
Yeah.
Are they really not over?
I don't like the theme music.
Yeah.
I think they overthought that a little bit.
Yeah.
I loved Ciampa's original theme music because it was different and it played to his character. The problem is they're not being presented as like they win matches, but it doesn't feel like it's their time yet.
Yeah.
It also, this goes to show you too, they were on developmental for a long time. They were the biggest stars in NXT. It takes time to get over on the main roster. It's a different kind of animal, just like AEW. It takes time. And even then, sometimes it doesn't fucking happen, especially when you're not working properly. Sometimes you can also work properly, do everything right, and it still doesn't work. I mean, that's just the nature of the business. But more often than not, if you do things the right way, usually you find either a niche to be able to win certain things or get into certain programs, or not everyone's a main event talent, but at the same point, being able to elevate yourself. I love Johnny. Do I think he's going to be a world champion someday? Probably not. Tommaso has a little more upside because he has better work on the promo. But even then, they're not getting a lot of chances. They were going to do the way again at some point. They decided to nix that pretty quick for whatever reason. I don't know why. Dexter Lumis got fired. Maybe that's why he got let go. They decided not to bring Austin Theory back into it, which would have been fantastic. They were teasing that about, like, oh, maybe Theory's going to cut like it. But he decided to do the tag team with Grayson Waller, which I like the tag team.
Yeah.
As the guys just get their ass kicked.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
You need those
You
teams.
hope you over a couple of years of doing that, you build sympathy for him. So at some point, one of them can turn and go. I think they have more probably right now high hopes for Grayson, but Austin's still young.
Well,
so
real quick on DIY.
DX.
I think Shawn Michaels and Triple H have a bright future.
Regeneration next.
Here we go.
This is the first time I think we're actually split on what we think is going to happen.
Here we go. All right, make your sales pitch. Again, these are not our picks.
Yeah.
Make your sales pitch on why Jimmy should win this match.
One, it's night one. So we're doing this match. That was announced. You want the bloodline to be at the highest level possible, riding the most high they possibly can. That means Jimmy wins. They got to win everything that night. If Solo's on the pre-show, fucker's winning. Like, every single bloodline member is winning on night one. You have to go into night two with it being literally Everest, no pun intended for Darby Allin, in front of Cody Rhodes. Everyone's riding high. Everyone's got momentum. Every single one of them. Sorry. I mean, it's got to be that, or it's not going to be. Because if there is mixes and matches, I don't know about how night two is going to go. There needs to be like this, holy shit, they're all clicking. They just keep finding ways to win all these fucking matches, dude. What the fuck?
Real quick before I make my case for Jey to win this match.
I wouldn't be upset if he did, but
if night two is bloodline rules, can Solo do the national anthem?
Rock asked for it.
I mean, Rock. That's what
the final boss wants you to sing the national
anthem. The final boss,
you jabroni. You want to sing it?
Can Solo sing the national?
Oh, say, shut up.
The tribal chief is not going to sing the national anthem.
By orders of the tribal chief, Solo Sikoa will now sing the national anthem. He just comes out like, ooh, shit.
He quickly turns his head.
And Roman's like,
come on.
Not quite my tempo. Do it again.
Yeah. Thought you guys loved America. What are you doing?
and then he finishes, and Roman's like, again. He's like, that's when Solo turns on Roman.
Yeah.
He makes him sing the national anthem 14 times.
Maybe an episode of WWE Speed is not necessarily a match anymore. It's just Solo singing the national anthem.
WWE Speed, a.k.a. AEW Light. Let's go real fast with a bunch of moves and see what happens. That's the biggest fucking troll to AEW. It's fucking perfect.
I watched it this afternoon or yesterday.
How'd that go?
It was 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It started.
Who wrestled?
Ricochet. I forgot who he fought, but Ricochet won. It was 3 minutes. As soon as the match ended, the stream ended too. It cut right off.
Who did Corey Graves broadcast?
Yeah, he did a solo.
Because 3 minutes didn't have a lot of time to go back and forth.
No. You don't need Bad News Barrett.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
That's not a complaint to Bad News Barrett. I love the commentary teams in WWE.
They're hitting on the head right now. It's doing pretty well.
Both shows.
Pat's still getting used to it, but yeah,
Pat sometimes can be scattered, a little bit.
Yeah, it's all the weed.
Hey, at least
tell me when I'm telling lies.
The people love it. The people love it. All right.
So give me your.
I will not be mad like I said I would be a month ago if Jimmy won this match.
Jimmy's actually built this match better than Jey with his promo work.
Jay's bringing Wayne in the storyline.
Lil Wayne.
Yeah. Like Jey.
Well, whoop-de-hell.
Jey is the... I'll put it to you this way. Jey Uso right now is one of the faces of the company at this stage right now.
Yeah.
The only knock against Jey Uso at this very moment is that he is taking, in top-level matches, he is taking some critical L's. I would like to see him get, as a solo act, he's been working very, very hard ever since, September? Since he became a solo act on Raw. I would like for Jey to get a signature win over his brother. Now, a month ago, I would have been upset with the idea of Jimmy winning this match. But you said something a month ago that has kind of been executed. Remind the audience what you told me on this show, if you remember, about what has to happen with Jimmy Uso on the road to WrestleMania. You remember.
Well, I told you he has to be presented like he can actually defeat Jey. Not only from a match standpoint, but from a vocal standpoint. And with mic work. And he, like I told you when we first started this now, his building of this match, it made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
He, top merch seller, little brother. You know, single star, little brother, big match, little brother. You wouldn't be here if it weren't for me. I did this for, it made a lot of sense. And his promo work, fantastic. He's wrestled better too. He's won a few matches. He's been put in a position, and especially because of the overall story, I think the more important thing, sadly enough, for all these guys, even with Seth, the biggest thing they need to have happen is not them win their matches. It's Cody win his. Because if you beat Roman, so to speak, I like your idea about Rock and Cody at SummerSlam, by the way, now. Because it feels...
starting to come together.
Like it's going to be a Roman loses to Cody, despite having all the advantage in the world because the Avengers assemble.
Mm-hmm.
Rock comes out night after WrestleMania on Raw, and he basically kind of Napoleon's Roman from the bloodline.
And again, I'll say this real quick, then we'll move on to the next match. I think it's just... I would love for Jey to win this match. But, ultimately, if on Sunday night, Cody is walking away with the championship, if the bloodline swept Saturday, but Cody wins the championship on Sunday, none of that matters.
Jey will get his moment, especially if, let's say Sami finds a way to beat Gunther, which could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Sami and Jey for the IC title, that's fun. That's cool. Gunther can focus on the World Heavyweight Championship. Him and Drew have already had that rivalry, so I mean that's makes a lot of sense. He can also claim it took two of you to beat me. Yeah. It took two of you to beat me. Fuck you. I move on. I go to a big gold title instead of this shit. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Jey will have his moment. It doesn't have to be right now. Would it be nice? Of course. He just wanted the match.
Yeah.
He said it in his promo. Dream match. Me, yeet. You, yeet. Oh, yeah, yeet. That's what I wanted. He already achieved his goal. Yeah. Jim feels like it's for the overarching story, it needs to be a win. So
if Sami does not get the job done here,
who the fuck's gonna beat this guy?
Who will?
Nobody. If he wins, it's gonna be as long as he wants to hold the title before he basically says I want to move on because the way he's carried it. The problem is there's not a lot of new stars. Maybe they're holding off on a couple of guys coming back for
Chad
Raw.
Gable rebuild himself to get back into this?
It would take time.
It would. I'm not saying backlash will happen, but
we've heard rumors about Ilya too, because they have a couple to Bash at Berlin. They have a couple different things overseas, France. Clash at the Castle too that was announced. I don't know where they're doing it, but they're doing it somewhere in Europe and probably in England, Ireland, somewhere around there. I mean, there's opportunities for that because they see Ilya as the same kind of level as Gunther as far as a prospect.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's going to be a guy, hey, look, an actual 5-star match, that's good. They could do that. That should tell the story. I mean, that's the only other guy, unless Brock comes back. If they decide to, I've heard that too. Now there's rumors that Brock is gonna come on after Gunther wins and they'll stare off. Or I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think it's still kind of there's a lot still up in the air about the whole thing. It's
I'll
not
say this,
illegal to have a piss kink, but at the same point, like
I'll
you probably
say this:
shouldn't be.
if Brock does come back, he ain't coming back as a babyface. Then I think
He'll get booed. He'll get booed.
Yeah, so I think you'll get a switch.
He's not coming back to win. He's coming back to put over Gunther.
I'll be honest here.
It wouldn't even be Gunther losing a title. It'd be just, ow.
I like Sami. I kind of wish Chad Gable was in this match instead.
A lot of people do. But
it's just, I guess I got locked into the story. But again, I withhold judgment because there is a bigger story in hand right now. Why is Chad Gable this interested in coaching Sami Zayn?
I think he wants to see Gunther fail because if it's not going to be him, he thinks Sami could do it if he's in the right mindset because he's seen Sami overcome a lot of shit, just like he is. He sees a lot of himself in Sami.
So it's a mutual respect.
It's a respect thing, and it's like, hey, you know what? If I can't be in this moment, you beat me to get here. Fair and square, you did.
Yeah.
So, and I want nothing more than this guy to fucking lose. I want to see him feel what I felt, what my daughter felt. If me helping you gets to that moment, we'll figure out that shit later.
Yeah.
Because I'll be calm for you. I'm not gonna lie. You know, we're competitors. But at the same point, I want to end that now.
Well, if Chad Gable's at ringside for this match,
well, Imperium will be out there.
We'll see.
But well,
that part's true. But yeah.
Will Sami officially be a member of Alpha Academy? Will he come out to the shoosh? No Sami Zayn entrance. He comes out to Alpha Academy, just like Bayley comes out to the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Yes, you do. You know what? You're gonna do that, and you're gonna give yourself a hug when she comes out because she's gonna be hugging people. She's going back to the hugger for one night only.
Are you saying I don't love myself?
I think you could. Everyone uses a little more self-love, right, Pete? It's part of the new set.
I'm gonna just hit the space bar and go to the next slide.
Speaking of self-love, a girl who loves showing off her ass with a girl who I just bought her book. It's in the car right now. I'm gonna read that.
But can I address this real quick? So Becky has a problem with that. Look at her ring gear.
Bit cheeky, huh?
Yeah, kind of.
Cheeky less.
Look at her ring gear.
Just saying.
Again, this is not me complaining.
No, we're just mildly observing.
This is not a complaint. What a I'll say this. I said a couple weeks ago on this program that this feud needs to kind of level up a little bit. It has.
Well, it got personal. Again, Ariel Helwani with Rhea and Becky showing up, that kind of stuff. The physicality of it really picked up. They kind of didn't touch each other ever.
Yeah.
So, and Becky said it was out of respect, huh? You didn't want to lay a hand at me. That's bullshit. Like, she basically called her out on it, bringing her daughter into it too. Nothing like getting personal to get a feud going. Hey, look, a story.
How about
when there really wasn't a story there to begin with, it was more about Becky maybe trying to prove herself again and proving she still has it because it's been, 5 years?
It's been 5 years
since her big WrestleMania moment. She really hasn't done a lot since then. So it's kind of like, what are we doing here?
It's been 5 years, and we were concerned. We were concerned a couple months ago. I was especially that Becky could not rise up to the occasion of this.
I think you were more than me.
I was for sure. Like, wait a minute. Like, her reactions were fizzling a little bit.
It's a problem too when you're going up against the most popular woman in the sport right now. I mean, it's difficult to.
And I think what they have done is, and this is something Vince would have not done. Vince would have had Becky go out there and just talk. And Becky's being booked to her advantage, which is, I'm going to overcome all the odds. I'm fighting for myself. You're with me. Let's go. But this is a personal thing, and it's working out. And they're not trying. They're not trying to paint a clear picture of, Rhea has to be the bad person, but she does have to play the part.
When she said that thing about her daughter, and when Becky responded, you saw emotion in Rhea's face.
Yeah,
she's had her own trials and tribulations, or being away from her family too, that kind of thing. Because obviously she's from Australia, and like you could tell she was like, oh shit, I did strike a chord there. All right.
I'll give you a little hint.
She was a human being, which is
right,
crazy.
And you need to see. I'll give you a little hint here in the future direction of Rhea. We're talking about the impending breakup or future of the Judgment Day, I should say, at least.
Yeah, she's going to be in a weird spot because she's like so entrenched as like pretty much the leader of that group. Now, I've heard different rumors about reincarnations of it and maybe kicking a person out and adding somebody else. I've heard like,
well, I think Dom's going to be out,
but
I don't think it's going to be like they're going to kick him out of Judgment Day, but I think I think Dom is going to be entrenched with the group he's with now, or the Santos and whatnot.
Hear me out on this. So, the thing that makes the most sense, at least in my mind, what was the one thing that was like a wedge between the Judgment Day a while back when he first won it?
When he first won it in Judgment Day?
When he first won it. I'm talking about Damian Priest.
Oh.
The Money in the Bank briefcase. What I've seen as a possibility, McIntyre beats Rollins because he's just tired. Night 2 WrestleMania. I'm assuming that's the first match. I think that's what I saw. It's going to kick off Night 2 of WrestleMania. McIntyre comes to Raw. I'm the savior. I'm all this stuff. He has a rematch with Seth for the title because, hey, the bloodline's been vanquished, so to speak. Now I can, you know what, Drew, you're right. I was tired. But guess what? 3 matches, 3 days. Who gives a fuck? Me and you right now tonight. Drew's like, you're on, brother. Like, they have a match. Drew wins again. Damian Priest comes to cash in. With the Judgment Day, everyone comes out.
Right.
Priest, he beats him down a little bit, whatever it is. He's about to hand the briefcase over. They ring the bell. Before they ring the bell, actually, or even whatever it is, they attack Priest. McIntyre joins Judgment Day, retains his championship. They've been talking for a long time. Rhea and Drew did. There's one thing this company has done now, which under Triple H, long-term storytelling. Kind of left it alone for a while. And if you notice, Priest stopped fucking with Drew.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he listened to Rhea.
All the way back to what, September?
Yeah.
October?
Yeah. They stopped messing with him. He stopped trying to fight him. He had his one match with him. It went over. Drew beat him. And that was it.
Only thing I'm trying to remember, too, I mean, last week, Drew was in the background talking to Paul Heyman. Maybe that was a distraction kind of deal.
Well, that was
part of it was the story for that night.
That was for Drew, obviously, to come out later that night.
Yeah, that was for that
night.
But
also for the Night 2 of WrestleMania. Maybe the Bloodline wants to keep fucking with Seth and kick you while you're down. We're going to cost you the title, too, with Drew. So
I'll say this. This is the one match, honestly, in my opinion, that could go either way for several long-term reasons. Mm-hmm. So I'll just leave it at that.
It'll be fun.
I don't know if you know these faces, know who these people are.
Pete doesn't. Well, he might know The Rock.
There's a presenting sponsor in this match, too.
Is there really?
It is.
Snickers?
It is.
There you go. I thought Snickers was just a sponsor of WrestleMania. Because 2K's down there, too.
Yeah.
Snickers is coming back for another year sponsoring WrestleMania.
American Home Shield. All right. We know the stipulations. We don't need to get into it. But just I always hold back. I personally hate when tag team matches main event pay-per-views. Personally, over time, because sometimes it can be deemed as lazy. Sometimes it can be deemed as, you really don't want to match up these two together, so.
But what would you do besides this if you wanted?
No. I'm set up to overall
in general,
in general,
which is fair.
This is perfect. This is
180 on that one.
Yeah, this is because I've wondered for years. You have a 2-night WrestleMania. How come night 1 can't carry over to night 2? And with the star power and everything, this is. Everyone has knocked it. We was concerned about Roman, and
yeah, I'm still
a little bit.
He hasn't done enough for me, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
It's time to go away for a little bit, and I know it's kind of ironic, but
let me pause you for a second. Did you watch his A&E special?
No,
I did not. I don't have A&E, so I didn't watch it either.
I probably could find it if I want. I know about Roman's story. There's been enough shit about him over the last 10 years that I've seen enough to know. They just made it because it's WrestleMania week and it's the timing to release it and all that stuff. People that want this guy to retain it, no, you don't. I'm skipping ahead, obviously, because this is the tag match, which I think we're both pretty much in unison who we think is going to win. But it's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth. Why? So he can get past Hogan and be the third longest reigning champion of all time? He's not going to hold it for 8 years. It's not going to happen.
While missing 80% of the shows.
Well, it'd be one thing if he was when he first started, when he was a visible champion.
Yeah.
But again,
schedules
you can work, that's fine. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's...
Like before it was, he's there every other week. He had a championship match one time with Rey Mysterio on a SmackDown.
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah, it was Well, Cody said this today, too, on Ariel's show as well. He said, once Liberty gets to be 10, 11, I'm probably going to want to be in her life even more than I am now, too, and want to be there for the memory-making moments. So maybe that's when I work a lighter schedule, too. But that's also years. Cody's got time. Roman's he's got 14,000 kids. He's got to...
Yeah, right.
He legit has, I think, 5 or 6 kids.
This is maybe it's a bad thing to say on our show, because we're a talk show. It's our job to break these things down. We're at a point here with this match where there's nothing really much to be discussed.
No, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion what's going to happen.
Straightforward.
I would be shocked if Seth and Cody win. I would be shocked.
Yeah.
Literally shocked. Just because of it, it's WrestleMania 40. They need to have the Avengers moment.
Yeah.
Because it's Cody said again, it's a 10. It's a 10. There's going to be some sort of crazy moment or whatever it is. He also went out of his way today to mention at length John Cena.
Yeah.
And Stone Cold. In the interview with Ariel, he was there for an hour.
But I don't think are they showing up in this match?
No.
Or it's night two.
Night two. Yeah, you don't want.
I will say
biggest moment possible for both of them.
I'll say this. I do believe. I'll say there's a 90 to 95% shot that the Bloodline wins this match. I'm leaving a little bit of light on the other side. If you really believe in the theory of sending the crowd home happy, that would be the only reason. But the bigger story, it would jeopardize the bigger story. But again, if you truly believe in the theory of it's a big pay-per-view, it's a stadium show, The Rock and his promo showed those kids crying.
The Rock feels bad. How about because The Rock's a girl dad too? But sometimes a man's got to do what a man's got to fucking do. I'm like, oh my God.
Man.
Chill, dude.
Cody died.
Why did Rock kill Cody? I'm never going to watch Moana again.
Oh, man, that was so... That really hurt Rock. That hit Rock.
Oh, it hurt.
Right there. You know?
I felt it deep in here. I felt the mana.
Uncle Rock had to tell you something. Sometimes when you stick your nose in other people's business,
a man's got to do what a man's got to fucking do.
So if you really care about the children.
You sounded like Bill Cosby for like half a second.
I did that on purpose. If you care about the children,
put the
get the pudding pop. And you give Cody and Seth the win. And then you put the kids to bed.
Holy shit. No. This is a case of two guys that probably should be main eventers, but for some reason just can't get all the way over. And then two teams that...
Street Profits are cool. Lashley's cool.
Karrion Kross
does everything technically sound.
He should be, on the level of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the crowd just doesn't like him. I don't know what it is. They don't even boo him. They don't care.
I comment in that same boat.
I don't know why. He has the look. He has the promo skills. Obviously, the production. He has the moveset. His finisher's sweet. I love his finisher too.
It doesn't seem like him, but I don't know who him is.
Yeah.
He to me
so deep in a character that it's beyond. It's not even like a Bray Wyatt character. It's I just don't know who you're trying to be. Are you trying to be dark or? It's strange.
No, I'll tell you what it is. To me, he's a guy. Him. To me, he's a guy.
That one.
Who, as a viewer, I could tell he's acting.
It doesn't feel real.
It doesn't feel like he's doing everything right. He's playing the part.
Yeah. I see that.
They give him all the effects and stuff, and he's doing his job. but he's acting.
Yeah, I see that 100%. And whereas Bobby is more like, it feels like he's just like that. Like he's got some friends.
He has friends. Who's the woman that
BFAB?
Oh,
we thought it was going to be Bianca because of her and Montez, but
wasn't BFAB with
Hit Row?
Yeah, Michael Cole's favorite.
Now AJ Adonis or whatever his name is, or AJ Francis is saying his name and he'll appear.
Yeah,
I believe in Joe Hendry. He didn't show up, so obviously it's bullshit.
If this match somehow is on the kickoff show, I would not mind.
It's going to be on the main show. They already said it's going to be on the main show. Middle of the show.
That's a bathroom break match. I'm sorry.
Hey, look, it's Triple H and Randy Orton 2.0. So there's no title
Where's
involved.
the Hell in the Cell?
There's no title.
Where's the steel cage?
No, it's just bad blood. It'll be a good match. I'm not
it will.
We'll talk about who wins it on Saturday.
This is one of those. All right, I will admit, L.A. coming to AJ's house, that was actually pretty cool. And
he should have went inside the house.
He should have went inside.
AJ's like, no, don't go inside. Don't go inside.
No.
Throw him through a window. Go full circle.
I'm gonna need a little bit more L.A. Knight to kind of get back to where he was last year.
People criticize his wrestling like he's not that bad.
It's not the wrestling. It's
it feels like he's pulling some punches on the promos.
Yeah.
Like he needs to let loose like guys like Punk are. He hasn't built that, I guess, that power yet to be able to talk like that. Maybe I guess, but
yeah,
when you're that talented, Triple H has to kind of look at him and go like, dude, fucking go. Like, just talk. We'll give you bullet points, but just go.
Just go.
Just go. Because, like, you can fill and do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because us trying to overscript you is not going to work.
No.
Because he's got the talent to do it, too. He can make he can come up with the quips and all that shit. He's quick. You know, like,
this is one of those feuds that I do expect to continue beyond WrestleMania.
Yeah, like the whole they got a match after at like Backlash or whatever it is. Yeah, I can see it.
For those who don't watch professional wrestling every week, both of these guys are over 40.
Yeah.
Both of these guys are in the best shape of their lives.
Yeah.
This guy,
he's one of the best ever.
Is 46.
Yeah.
And is in the best shape. He is muscled up.
AJ Styles is what he gets called the Shawn Michaels of our generation.
Yeah.
Because of his working and all that stuff. And he's been kind of in limbo for the past couple of years.
He has been.
I've been waiting for him to kind of get back into that main event. He had the tournament run where he faced Seth for the finals for the World Heavyweight Championship in Saudi. Thought it probably should have been Edge, but it wasn't. Remember we had that talk to a while back. But I don't know.
This match could still night 2. This could steal the show.
Not on night 2.
Could steal the show.
All due respect to any match on night 2, no match stealing the show from the main event.
You're waiting for the main event, and it's fine.
It's a great match. It's gonna be fun to watch, but we all know what we're looking forward to on night 2.
I will bet. No money, I'm broke, but I will bet that when we do this show again next week, we will be talking about this match.
We're talking about all the matches probably.
No, we're gonna be talking about this match and say. This match was pretty special.
It was pretty.
This is a really nice match.
It's going to be a good match. It's going to be a really good
match. AJ looking at LA Knight like,
kiss.
Dude, why are you in my yard?
Eye contact. Prolong eye contact.
What do you mean I have to go to a PTA meeting?
You got kids, son.
You got kids?
Nah.
Gotta see that report card?
It is what it is. You gotta get Kevin Owens on the show.
This is we have to get everybody.
Randy and KO are going to be a great tag team after this match.
We will have to react this weekend because they're going to have the KO show on SmackDown.
Yeah. Oh, they are?
Yeah. That'll be on SmackDown. Randy will be the guest.
Of course.
So
that's when they'll finally decide to hit each other, maybe.
They'll, the bro hug will go wrong.
Yeah, there you go. Well, they'll do their thing, yeah.
Logan Paul matches do deliver. Every one of them. Logan Paul matches deliver.
No reason
Obviously,
why
with the triple threat stipulation,
there's no disqualification because that decided to become a thing.
There's a ton of stuff, right?
Yeah, he's gonna bring his group with him. He's gonna bring out the brass knuckles. They're gonna do a whole thing. I'm still waiting for Logan to get a finisher. At one point, it was he was doing the hangman over the top buckshot lariat thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get something for Logan besides punching someone? I mean, I don't know. Figure it out. This is a
to me. This is a match designed for Kevin Owens to take the pinfall. Well, let me backtrack. Wrong. Let me backtrack.
How big would it be for Logan if he pinned Randy?
That'll be huge.
Just saying.
It'll be huge.
There's no reason why.
I would love for Randy to win this match. I would love Randy to be the United States champion, to be the veteran that's on SmackDown every week.
Only if he does an open challenge, like Cena
kind of an open challenge kind of deal, but putting over younger talent or facing younger talent.
That's what I'd be okay with if he does.
Yeah, I would love that. Knowing though that Logan Paul has a shot to win this match, though, knowing that SummerSlam is not that far away here in Cleveland.
Yeah, well, I mean, he could always fight Cody for the title too if it comes down to that.
Good.
If Cody's not facing The Rock.
Could, or you could jump over to Raw, face
Seth.
Somebody.
Or Drew or whoever, yeah. Say it with me. Token champion. Which is crazy talking about a champ who's had the title for 250 days. But still, it felt like we were just waiting for this. We're waiting for the moment.
Well, here's the thing about long title reigns.
Wacky, waving,
if
inflatable,
no,
arm flailing,
no,
tube men.
No.
Wacky waving. Yes. If they're not there, I'm turning the fucking TV off. Sorry.
All right, fine. Turn the TV off and do something else. I mean, this is...
Well, fuck me then, too. All right, Jesus.
All right, then. I mean... let him,
you want to turn it off? Turn it off.
Look. If EO came out to the inflatables...
That'd be funny.
That would be pretty funny.
If she came out and asked them, but then Bayley stitched them together, and they came back up. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Wah!
Yeah. Not as excited about this match as the Rhea Becky match.
Which we should be. It's a better story technically, but
yeah, but you know,
they let it go the past couple weeks. And the fact that Bayley didn't help Jade and not Jade, but and Naomi and Bianca, kind of strange.
Yeah,
there's still like a weird thing with them now,
and we'll see. Maybe
Bayley's gonna look really good when she loses the title to Jade Cargill.
Yeah,
or Bianca. Who knows?
Yeah, somebody.
One of them. Yeah,
somebody. This would have been one of those feuds. It happens every year at WrestleMania to some story that starts at the Royal Rumble. Well, I mean, started before that, but starts at the Royal Rumble. It would be ideal if they would have been able to finish the story at Elimination Chamber, but it belonged at WrestleMania. But they don't have 7 weeks of material. You know, they just don't.
They could have, but the problem was there was a gigantic story on that show that was taking center stage.
Yeah.
And eventually bled over into both shows.
Yeah.
So they kind of really...
I think this feud, to your point,
much
about
better
Bloodline and stuff, I think the Bloodline, remember those 40-minute opening Rock promos, I think this story took a hit.
Yeah. It got cut a little bit, probably.
It did. But again, at the same time...
It kind of sells itself.
It sells itself.
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, in the entire Damage Control group, the strongest talker, I think it's Dakota. It's a you can flip the coin between Dakota and Bayley.
The problem is the other three don't speak English as a first language, so it's kind of tough to have them lead a promo because they're just yelling in Japanese.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah.
So it has to be Dakota. She's not speaking Kiwi.
Yeah.
Is that even a language? I feel so... Because she's from New Zealand.
That might be on your SATs.
Oh, fuck, well. If I'm taking the SATs at 29, I've got something wrong with me.
All right. Time for the championship, like the world title. I have a different theory for what you presented.
You think it's going to happen?
Yes.
Really?
And I think there's a part of me that believes the they're cooling off a tad bit on Drew. Now, that could be
Okay.
putting up smoke.
He's already signed a new contract.
Smoke and mirrors and stuff, and Drew ultimately comes out and wins the championship. Yeah. Anthony, shut up. So it could be that.
Whatever you want.
I think I got to think about this till Saturday, because I have some thoughts running in my mind about this. Don't
overthink it, buddy.
I have some thoughts.
Seth's not winning the match. I'm sorry, he's not winning the match.
I'm not so
sure. You are more likely to be correct about Damian Priest cashing in and winning the match than you would be if you pick Seth. I'm just telling you now.
I'm not so sure.
I'm 100% sure he's not winning.
I was 100% sure. Not anymore.
They didn't cool off on Drew. They had him do a promo in a fucking funeral home. It was fantastic.
Oh yeah, that was great.
It was great.
That was great.
It was fucking awesome.
Again, like we said,
and he still ran into him again later in the show.
Everything that Drew has done.
He's gonna pick the scraps. That's what it's gonna be. This match is actually one of the easier ones for me to pick. It's not because Seth couldn't put on a great match. I still think he'll have a decent match. But he's going to show
what this match
wear
will
and
be?
tear.
This will be a WWE speed match.
3 minutes.
This
Honestly,
will be
why is Corey Graves out there by himself? Oh, shit.
CM Punk will be the special commentator for this match.
It's just me, guys. Watch this.
I have a suit. I have a jacket for you.
What the fuck did I wear this for? 3 minutes? That's great. Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. What is that?
So, up at the top,
you have Roman winning.
That is.
Oh, is that the scene from when he won last year?
That is what we have seen the last couple of years. I believe this shot in particular was when he was. It was last year.
So Roman now, I found this out too, with main eventing both night 1 and night 2, 9 WrestleMania main events. That is the most of all time.
He'll tie
Hogan on night 1.
On night 1 and break night 2.
That is nuts. And it's been consecutive. It's like crazy. Like he's main evented besides 35 every WrestleMania for like the past 9 years, 10 years.
But this is up at the top. That's been the scene the last 3 WrestleManias.
Yeah. Yeah. First it was Edge and Bryan. Then it was Brock.
Beat them both.
Brock, then Cody, and now who the fuck knows what's going to happen this year, right? We talked about it before.
Yeah.
If Roman wins this match. Boy.
We do agree on one thing. This has to be a Bloodline Rules match.
It has to be.
Which obviously, the one pick that we're able to give away right now, we'll give away the details later in the week. But the one pick we'll give away is on Saturday, we have the Bloodline winning tag match.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's got to be like that so we can have that big moment where we get John Cena coming out. We get Stone Cold coming out because it's WrestleMania 40. They're going to be there. They both are. The question is, what are they going to do? There's a reason why Sunday only has 6 matches and Saturday has 7.
Yeah.
Because this is going to take
forever. Was when Triple H announced
the card.
That was the first thing that stood out. Was like,
there's a reason why there's less matches on Sunday because this is going to take a while, but it's going to be worth it. So
this is going to be great, and
45-minute match because of all the different run-ins.
It's going to be,
but it's going to be chaos. It's going to be absolute chaos.
And I'll just say this: I think we have criticized last year's WrestleMania with Roman retaining. That was not a good feeling. But the one thing I'll say that came out of it was that at least, well, did it work? You got an extra year of stories out of it.
And you got another year with Roman as champ. He was able to kind of really, because it was 1,000 days, he finally got to. It was a whole thing where he's went to another level with it. But at some point, too, it's...
And The Rock is back in the fold now, too. Yeah. The Rock is back in the fold. I know people who are back into professional wrestling because The Rock is back in the fold.
Wrestling is cool.
You know, that's just and that's just what it is. Here's the one thing I'll say about Mania. Ever since it's gone 2 nights, there's a ton of matches, so it's going to be key. And we know the Bloodline story is the big story, and everything intertwined with it. It's going to be up to the other matches and the people in the other matches to step their game up too.
Oh, it's a big challenge.
It's going to be up. Like, I love what Becky and Rhea has done this week. these last couple of weeks. You got to make these media rounds. You gotta go out there and convince the audience why we should care about your story, why we should care about your match. I'll be honest, like us going through this, there were some matches I think either of us would have not mind skipping. And that's just because, again, there's 13 matches?
7 on night 1, 6 on night 2.
So not everyone's going to be memorable. And that's even with good people on these shows. And that's just and that's just what it is. Like, it really, really doesn't matter. Like, the Bloodlines is the story. And now it's
involving
everything
like
else.
4 or 5 different matches on the card too. It's just all encompassing for it. So,
and you're gonna be thinking about the Uso match, everything like that. So
before we wrap up and talk about Saturday, can I do like my little 30-second rant thing? Do you want to time me again, or what do you want to?
I haven't watched this week, so
Nice.
Whenever you're ready.
Now, okay, so I watched the Bray Wyatt documentary that came out this past Monday. I maybe said this before at some point. It is a shame that he's not going into the Hall of Fame this coming Friday night. Also, Bo Dallas possibly coming back. Great to see at the end, little tease with that. But it's bullshit. He should be going in now. If he's not going in next year, I may stop watching WWE.
19 seconds.
I'm getting better at that.
Yeah, you are.
How about that? Pete's like, can you end the show now?
I'm getting worse at it. And that's just that.
You're slowing down. You're getting old.
Maybe.
You're older than me.
That's why they gotta. All right.
Get real.
What are we doing Saturday?
So we have a special thing.
Yeah, we do.
We're gonna do a live stream.
We have a remote.
We have a remote and we're going live.
Yeah, we have a remote.
Can you believe that shit? Pete's like, oh yeah. It'll be fun. You want to tell them the time and day?
Yeah. So.
And the place.
Yeah. So Saturday, we're gonna be live. What is it? The cards collectors, over at Independence. Pete.
He's finding his voice.
That would be it's the the Great Lakes Collectible
Nice
show.
Yeah.
And, it's their second annual show over at the Independence Fieldhouse.
Yeah. So
about noon, I think we're gonna be going on.
Yeah. So we'll be there. So Voice of the Land podcast.
They were with us last week.
They'll be on live at 11. So they'll be on live, and then we'll be on after them at noon. Live from there. So first, I'll come see us if you're in the Cleveland area.
Yeah, great to see you guys. Well, maybe even if you behave, we'll even talk to you for a minute.
If you behave in front of him, it'll be that. No, this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's fun.
And the fact that we're going to be live the day of WrestleMania. So what we're going to do on that show, on top of any guests that we come across and everything, and the card collecting and the sports cards and stuff, it's going to be incredible. But what we're going to do on that show on Saturday, we are going to actually give our predictions, our official predictions for WrestleMania Night 1, Night 2. We'll react to the Hall of Fame, which essentially, with all due respect, we'll react to Paul Heyman's speech. We'll react to Paul Heyman's speech. Anything that happened on SmackDown. And I'll just say this too, Kyle. There's a ton of content from this week. It would not shock me one bit if we had something in the next couple of days that we need to react to, and we'll do it live this Saturday.
It's exciting. A chance to get a double dose of us this week. Obviously, we'll be live on the YouTube channel, as well as we'll be doing TikTok live as too. So we'll kind of have that running and do all of it. So you guys, if you have questions for us, you can ask on the comments and all that. We'll talk to you guys on there, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great time. Our first little dip into the live spectrum of broadcasting.
Yeah, well, and we'll be around too. Different sports talk shows, too. Different personalities and stuff. So if anybody walks by and they're like, "Why are y'all talking about that wrestling?"
Suck a dick. No, I'm not going to say that.
That's exactly what we'll tell them.
That's the best part. We can kind of say whatever we want. Don't have to worry about getting demonetized yet. So it's kind of nice.
No, this is gonna be exciting.
Especially on TikTok, you get away with a lot of shit.
Yeah, you can. I've seen some of the comments. I've seen some of your comments.
Oh yeah.
Also, please subscribe to our YouTube page, the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast. Subscribe there. We have the TikTok.
Which, by the way, just quick, we eclipsed 1,000 likes, which is awesome. Also, 20,000 views overall, too. So, appreciate you guys, obviously, just going mind-numbing and watching all this shit over and over again. So,
Yeah.
daily content, man. Every day we put something out for you, a new video, a new clip. Obviously, we know we have great stuff on the YouTube for you as well, different social media platforms. This guy's been carrying the weight since I'm like social media adjacent. I'm not quite there, but I'm on it, but not really.
If you're on Facebook, the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast on Facebook, we have that as well. The Twitter, of course, you can follow that at
Hustle
Hustle
Side
Pod.
Remember that one?
So you can, do all of that. But this is the time. I mean, I remember years ago when I was able to watch my first WrestleMania from start to finish. And WrestleMania is always a special time, no matter where you are as a product. So it's here. I mean, it's here, and now the powers that be, you hope that they put out a good show and deliver.
Second biggest week for us this year. Most important will be the week of SummerSlam.
Yeah, we'll be.
So,
we'll be.
Yeah.
We're gonna count down. To that. I have a new clothes this week.
We're not doing the...
We can't... Well, maybe in the future. But we can't...
We're doing 2 shows this week, so it's not really a...
We'll do a Saturday, because I can't do this clothes in front of the public. But...
Well, then it's not fun if you can't do it in front of them.
No.
You can do whatever you want.
No, we can't.
You're not on the air anymore. You can do whatever you want.
You want to know what I learned this week? Just because the show is over doesn't mean that the shit stops.
Okay. He walked off. See you guys.